Hey class, hope everybody's doing well. Because I think that we're in our last week of this class. It's gone by pretty quick. Um, but and doing our last video post, which is cool too. Um, kind of some thoughts on the question. This is it's kind of funny because um, I've grown up in a Christian household, and my friends are all Christian, and there's like I think there's this stigma around of a Christian mom and um, having those like signs and stuff up on the wall and with the Bible verses and stuff and like live, laugh, love and all those kind of cheesy, corny things just as decoration in your house. And I kind of grown up around it, so it's been like natural to see those things, and I've thought nothing of it really. And after this class and after reading the articles and the textbook this week, my views have changed slightly. Um, it's interesting because those I'll just speak on Jeremiah 29:11. This is actually one of my dad's favorite verse, and he had a like poster thing, something to hang on the wall that had it on there. Kind of same with John 3:16 as well. The two verses that were highlighted in the discussion, but you know, after taking this class and learning a lot about how to interpret scripture and read scripture and listening to different sermons and podcasts and stuff on just biblical interpretation in general, I don't have a problem necessarily with those hanging up on the wall. I think it's a stretch to say that those people who are hanging those verses on the wall are interpreting those verses correctly. I think a lot of times when you see like the Jeremiah 29:11 specifically, it's more of the idea that this verse was written for me right now in this moment. Like God has a plan for me, and like He is orchestrating my life, which is true. But that verse was written to an audience who was not us. And it was written in a time period which is not now. Is there truth that we can take from that verse? Yes, 100%, of course. But I think that it's kind of with Jeremiah 29:11, just the whole Bible in general. It's very dangerous to take that position when talking about Scripture. It's dangerous to think that Scripture was written for me, talking about me, and it was written for me in this time right now. I think that it's on the flip side, though. I think that those are cool to have up in your house because they are good reminders, and you can see that and think about Scripture in a different way. Maybe seeing that every day might be a motivational thing. It might be just a reminder for yourself that God is there and God has a plan for you, or that Jesus came, that God sent Jesus, and talking about John 3:16. Those could be good reminders. I know, like, the big thing, like, in children's ministry, which I grew up in the church, but I didn't go to church a lot. But children's ministry was like memory verses and stuff like that. And it's like, why do we do memory verses? So yeah, it's an interesting take on, or kind of I have a different perspective on it now. I think it's really cool, and it's a good reminder, and it serves a purpose. And maybe it's really cool if like a non-believer comes in your house and sees that, and a person who doesn't get to really see the Bible a whole lot can see that specific verse of the Bible, and maybe that could spark an interest or something, or start a conversation or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's something I don't really have a problem with. It's something that I don't think I would personally do. Put a lot of that stuff up in my house. I don't have any Bible verses in my room, or I know like a big thing is like putting Bible verses in a bio of social media. I don't have a problem with it. I personally don't do it because I think that if you're just looking at one part of scripture, one part of a chapter, of the Bible, one verse of the Bible, you're not getting the whole picture. And you're not really understanding the whole context of what that verse is trying to say. But if you look at that verse and in the context of the chapter, in the context of the whole passage, you can gain a lot more context. So yeah, those are just a couple of my thoughts. It's definitely something that I'll be looking at differently now. But again, there's no judgment whatsoever. I think that there are a lot of good things of having those, and if that's how you are reminded every day about God or about who God is or what God does, and I think it's great, and I think it's something that should be done, and you should keep doing it. And yeah, I just keep thinking of like little examples. Now I'm thinking of like on the YouVersion Bible app, they have like the verse of the day, and again, it's a motivational thing. It's something that is, I think, for motivation purely, but can be dangerous if that is the only thing that you're looking at and the only context you're looking at through this is written for me, or you're not reading the whole book. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts. Again, definitely don't look down on anybody who ever does that. There's a lot of benefits, and to each their own. Each person experiences God differently, so I think it's cool that people are wanting to display that. But just got to be careful of that not becoming the only thing. So yeah, this class has been awesome. Been really cool hearing from you guys. So hopefully I'll see you in other classes. But yeah, been a really fun class, and I have enjoyed it a lot. Later.